しが遠回りしたってそれが最短で怖さと悪をポケットにしまい込んで走ってきた君の涙僕に聞かせて一人では越えられない冒険僕たちは風の示す先へ出会いが最大よライト戦いの中で共鳴しちゃっていた隣にいるそれだけでどこまでも歩める気がした答えは僕の中にある世界はずっとこの手の中に君がいるそれだけでたまらなく心が弾んでしまう静かに揺れる眼差しを向ける理由は見当たらないやけに鼓動が速くなる羅針盤は指し示していた止まることも知らないやまだ見ぬ風まだ見ぬ期待を抱いてまだ終わらないで忘れられないのは心が動いた衝動終わりがあるのは今が輝く魔法優しい瞳は痛みを背負ってきた証拠信じる気持ちは君からもらったプレゼントだから君の涙僕に聞かせて一人では越えられない冒険僕たちは風の示す先へ出会いが最大よライト戦いの中で共鳴しちゃっていた隣にいるそれだけでどこまでも歩める気がした答えは僕の中にある世界はずっとこの手の中に君がいるそれだけでたまらなく心が弾んでしまう僕の答えはこの旅路の中で光っている
Hello everyone, my name is Meat Monthly. Oh god, my thing is not focused. Hello. My name is Meat Monthly. Happy holidays everyone. It's been a while. It has been quite a while since I have gone live. I think it was like what, October? It's December now. Yeah, what the fuck is going on with my hold on. Okay. There we go. Nice, 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 nice. All right. So it's been a while. I hope you all been doing well. It's holiday season. Uh, my place is covered in snow. My driveway's covered in snow. There's snow all over the place. Yeah, that's what happens when you live in the mountains. Anyway, so there's been a lot of stuff that's happened since the last time I turned on this live stream. First thing is that Nintendo got deleted. Literally minutes after I ended the last stream, where I said that Nintendo, if you want to do whatever, feel free. I'm not gonna oppose any of it. They literally were watching the stream and they were like, yeah, okay, all right, hit him with those copyright strikes. Yeah, and they deleted the server, they deleted everything. So after that, I took a little break. Just focused on myself, my job, etc. And about a month later, I was like, okay, there was a lot of text leaks happening in November of Gen 10, of ZA DLC. There was a lot of stuff going on. I mean, there was like a new leaker. Well, not really new, but a leaker who was posting a lot of stuff about the ZA DLC, like marketing schedule, things like that. So I was like, okay, I think it's time. It's time to start the next the next server, you know. So I made GAIACHADS. So it's a new Discord, basically a successor to Nintendo. Posting, you know, we don't really have any new leaks right now. Hi, Uncle. Yo, what's up? We don't really have any new leaks right now, but I mean, we've been looking at the Terra Leak stuff in more depth, and we found things that people didn't look at. So essentially, there are people on my server who are looking at, I believe, the error debug reports, which was able to unveil, you know, several new things. And once we contextualize those reports with some of the stuff that we'd been seeing, that we'd already seen, like previously, whenever in October, whenever the second Terra Leak happened, we were able to you know, put stuff together and figure new things out. Basically, that's what's been going on. I mean, you might have seen some of my posts on Twitter. You might have seen, like, you know, various various like things getting posted around. You'll also might see some of that stuff getting posted. I believe Necros, the one guy on Twitter, he's been reading that stuff. He's been posting his stuff in Portuguese. I think it's Portuguese or Spanish. I don't remember. But basically, he's been posting that stuff for Latam, and that's nice. So yeah, Gen 10 leaked? No, Gen 10 has not leaked. Some things about Gen 10 have been leaked, and we've been studying the stuff that's already been leaked. So one of the biggest leaks that's happened, I think all of you guys saw this, that didn't come from us, was, you know, Centro. He posted he posted basically a bunch of circles drawn in MS Paint of the map. Now, I've heard that that map is geographically where the islands are, it's accurate, but they're much more detailed than circles. I've heard that. But in general, that's the biggest thing, is that the map got posted. Some people are talking about volcanoes and stuff. I don't really know anything about that. But there's a lot of stuff in the GAIACHADS Discord that you'll see. There's, like, you know, different biomes, like jungle biome, desert biome, volcano biome, you know, things like that. We figured out how the riding Pokemon is supposed to work. Yo, what's up, Dami? We've seen how the riding Pokemon's supposed to work, where basically the Pokemon is dragging you, like kind of like a reindeer pulls a sleigh. Like, you get on like a scooter, but it doesn't have wheels. It's like a hoverboard, and you get pulled along by your Pokemon. So this is actually really smart, in my opinion. It looks a little goofy, but this is a way for them to implement riding Pokemon for basically every Pokemon without having to do, like, if you guys recall in Let's Go, how, like, there's a lot of ride Pokemon, but, like, there was custom animations for, like, how the trainer sat on every single Pokemon and how they ran around. Doing this with the scooter and the sleigh thing is actually really smart. It allows them to, you know, you put any Pokemon in the harness of that sleigh. You just have to make a little model for it holding the sleigh. That's it. You don't have to do anything crazy with it. And you don't even have to make, like, new running animations. You just have to you just use the regular one. So that's really smart. I don't know if they're going to keep that. How's the graphics? The graphics are, I mean, from everything from what we've seen, it's like Roblox tier graphics, because it's like an alpha of an alpha. It's like pre-alpha, like conceptual. Like, we haven't actually seen, like, we've seen what they want the graphics to look like. Like, we've seen concept, like, renders of what they want the graphics to look like, but we haven't actually seen, you know, the game at all. No one's seen it, to my knowledge. No one who's in the elite cabal or whatever you want to call it. No one's seen, like, the actual game, like in a production state, even in a beta state, right? Like, even in betas, graphics are bad. By the way, Moot, there's like a minute delay on the stream. What do you mean by a minute delay? Like, a delay of what? Like, the audio is delayed by a minute? Really? That's crazy. Oh well. I mean, it's not like I'm showing anything anyway. So it don't matter. May want to address the AI implementation of the game. Well, we don't know that they're actually doing that. Um, AI implementation. So that what that was one of my guys was looking through, looking through the Terra League stuff again. They were really going at it the last couple days. They went through every damn file. I think like, they were going crazy. Um, they found a PowerPoint of a pitch that Amazon Web Services was making to Game Freak or just the Pokemon company in general, we don't really know, about how Amazon Web Services is implementing Stable Diffusion into their workflow. And Game Freak uses Amazon Web Services for some stuff. So they were saying, yo, you can use this. You can use Stable Diffusion. Now, Stable Diffusion, for those of you who don't know, is an open source image gen AI. So image gen is like, it's like Nano Banana or whatever, where you type in like a prompt and it makes a picture of it. That's basically how it works. And there's a bunch of other tools it has, but generally it's like what's funny is that the thing about Stable Diffusion that makes it better than the other ones is that you can use it localized. Like that's the thing that differentiates it from most of the other ones, is that you can actually download libraries and just plug and play, and that's like why people like Stable Diffusion. So I don't know why Amazon is trying to pitch them to use it on a cloud server, because it's like that's like kind of against the whole point. Like if they want to use Gen AI with like cloud servers and stuff, they could just use one of the actual good ones like Gemini or whatever. Actually, I don't know if Gemini is image. I don't remember, but they could use any of those. So it's a little odd that they want to use that. But anyway, it was just a pitch. Like we don't know if Game Freak actually. Of course, Game Freak likely solicited the meeting, right? Like that kind of stuff doesn't happen unsolicited. So of course, Game Freak was considering it at some point. Especially given from what we know, the art tends to be like the thing that's like the most resource intensive for them. I mean, we all know that they aren't putting a lot of resources onto the game part, but the art, getting every single Pokemon right, it seems like they use multiple different subcommittees and stuff for deciding Pokemon designs, etc. So, yeah. I've seen spaces mentioning how some people use ChatGPT inside Game Freak. There's even a full ChatGPT inside the files, but most of the times I've seen them being used to get error info. Okay, well that's crazy. They're using ChatGPT. Okay, yeah, that's gonna be like that's like an IGN article, bro. Yeah, I don't think you realize how how much people dislike AI. If people knew that Game Freak had a ChatGPT tutorial in their fucking game files, okay, that's wild. Anyway, I mean, it's not like everyone doesn't use ChatGPT. Like, I mean, all the people who are complaining about ChatGPT, they probably use it on like their university papers and stuff anyway. So like, it's like, okay, dog. Anyway, so when it comes to leaks, right? Let me pull up the Discord. Let's see like just generally what we have. So the big thing is we had a lot of player and jump animations. We saw these biomes. So we got desert. Well, there's 3 deserts, or 4. No, there's 5 deserts. There's grassland, snowfield. There's 2 snowfields. There's volcano, and then there's 2 wetlands. Now, look, I like wetlands. I actually like wetlands. Might be like if I had to pick a favorite biome, it would probably be wetlands or rainforests. Like I don't think we really get a lot of wetlands in Pokemon nowadays. Like they're usually pretty isolated in like the corner of the map. Like I remember in Paldea there was one. I think it was like area South Zone, Area 5 or something, where it was like off all on the corner of the map, and it was just like it wasn't even really a wetland. It was just like a marsh, right? Like that's not the same thing. Like that was just a muddy swamp. A wetland has like rivers. It's got these long grasses and stuff, and these low hanging trees. All that kind of stuff. By the rivers. You gotta do that. Like, have you guys ever seen the Pantanal? Like, you ever watch like a nature documentary of like the Pantanal? The Pantanal is a wetland south of the Amazon rainforest. So it's where it's like a little drier than the rainforest is. It doesn't rain all year, so it's still got some rainforest stuff, but it's like way drier. So that's nice. We got volcanic zone for once. Yeah, that's nice. We haven't had a volcano in a while. I mean, when was the last volcano? When was the last real volcano? Really, you think about it. When was the last dead ass volcano? It had to have been like Sinnoh, right? Like Paldea didn't have one. Paldea had a mountain. Gen 7 had a volcano? Did it? I thought it had like a snowy mountain. Alola had one? Bro. I mean, it must. Oh! It did! It did on Akala Island. I remember now. It did. It did. It did. It did. It did. It did. It was next to the golf course. I remember that was so fucking. Who puts a golf course at the foot of a volcano? That shit was so weird. Yeah, I remember. It was like a national park or something. That's pretty cool. But yeah, yeah, we haven't had a volcano in a while. I like volcanoes. I hope they have more fire types. That means Uncle Moot hitting the ages. Look, man, I'm like, I'm getting older, bro. Dude, I got back on Deadlock, which is like, if you guys don't know, it's like a third person like MOBA hero shooter after like a couple months of not playing it, right? Because I was doing Pokemon stuff. I lost like 15 games in a row, and I was getting, as my rank went down, I was playing progressively worse and worse. It was weird. At the end of it, I was like two whole brackets, like two whole ranks below where I used to be, and I was going like 0 and 10 every day, every game. Like I don't know what happened, but it was like my game sense has deteriorated in real time. So I'm just sitting around reading books now. I'm too afraid to I'm too afraid to go back on the game, bro. Like the volcano was a black screen that poured you the other side. That's dog shit. Any Poke Leaks? I don't really know any Poke Leaks. I actually don't. Like, I mean, I haven't talked to any Poke people in like 3 months or something. I don't know. It's been a while. I'm not really keen to anime like in anime like that. I've heard there's gonna be a movie. I heard that from an anime buddy of mine. He has a friend who wants to get in. Well, no, he has a friend who got in and he wants to get in on the movie. So I've heard there is gonna be a movie. I really don't know that much more than that. Considering that they're pulling in animators now, it's probably getting closer to finishing. It might air this next year, maybe not. I'm not sure. I don't think. I think it might be late next year. They might do it in like the fall. Usually the movies come out like in the summer, because that's usually like the best time to release movies because the kids, especially for Pokemon, because the kids are out of school, right? Pokemon, the anime always has a massive boost in viewership during the summer. It goes from just whatever to literally like top five anime on TV in Japan, like top five, like beating out like any seasonal you can think of. Like I remember during the first season of Horizons during the summer. Well, it was a really good set of episodes, so that helped. But during the summer, it was actually beating JJK season 2 in viewership. It was actually more viewed on TV than JJK season 2 was, which is wild. But yeah. Yeah, the Pokemon XYZ director is directing the next Doraemon movie. Did you know that? He is. I'm very excited. I might watch it. He's like my favorite director of all time. I don't know. I love that guy's like his like the way he directs and stuff with like his wide paneling and everything. Like he actually just like I don't want to say cares more because that's kind of insulting to other people, but he literally just like thinks a bit bigger than a lot of directors that especially Pokemon has. Sumika is doing the I do like Sumika. I do like me some Sumika. So hey, I might check it out. Anyway, so comes to leaks, when it comes to new stuff, I mean, we don't really have a lot of new stuff because a lot of the big stuff was already discovered. But some of the big things are that it's most likely that there's going to be around 16 main islands, and from what I've heard, that's roughly accurate. Main story islands. So these are not the Progen Islands, but we're not entirely sure how that's. We don't even know if that's still a thing because honestly, like looking at like Centro's map, for example, like do you really see like room for like the little procedurally generated islands everywhere? No, I don't see. I don't see room. Like I don't get it. It's like where's those islands coming from? Like where even are they? Are they like just off on another part of the map and you just you go back and forth to them? Like I don't really get it. I really don't get it. So I don't really know how they're gonna be doing that. That said, 16 islands makes sense. The first island has the main city and the hotel that the player stays at. There's at least 3 towns on it, a location called Relic Tower, and there's 2 trials of some kind. So, I hear trials and I'm instantly like, whoa, 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 please, whoa, relax, Game Freak, don't do those stupid fuck ass trials again. But there's also gyms. So if they do trials and gyms, I'm okay with that. Because if you really think about it, like the Titan Pokemon were kind of like trials, no? Or maybe it was more like the Team Star stuff was more like trials. I don't know. It was something like that. So I'm okay with trials if there are also gyms. You know what I'm saying? If they do both, that's okay with me. Um, I think the trials were kind of like they were cool, but the Pokemon they used for them were so boring that like aside from like the wishy washy one, like that was the only one that was like cool. That was the only one that was like, oh shit, right? Like all the other ones were kind of mid, and even like the last one was ass. Like the last one was literally you just walk through a cave and you like fight a couple Pokemon, and then Como-O's at the end of it, and you fight it. Like what? I don't know. Like some of them were pretty cool. Others were not so cool. I remember the Lurantis one bent a lot of people over. It didn't bend me over because I had a flying type, but it did bend a lot of people over. That was pretty funny. Do you think we'll be able to pick Order of Gyms or whatever? I mean, given that it's an open world, I would like that. Um, it made Scarlet and Violet a lot more interesting because if you went counterclockwise, I think it's going clockwise in the camera, but if you went clockwise, it was actually really hard. Like it was actually genuinely super hard, but it was also kind of like well scaled. So as you came back around towards the western part of the thing, you still had to fight Larry and like some pretty tough people, and then finally you would fight like Katie, and then Katie would have like a level 10 Spinarak or whatever, and then it was like whatever. But like then you would fight like the psychic lady and all that, and it was actually well scaled. Actually, it was weird. It was just way harder. Like if you went counterclockwise, it was just a way, way, way harder thing, but it was actually super fun. Like it was actually super, super duper fun. I loved that shit. Like it was because you were like 5-10 levels under these people, and it was actually hard. And I would actually have to like use healing items and things. It was really fun. I mean, I never really lost, but it was still. I did lose against I don't even remember his name. The ice guy, last gym leader. I lost against him. I tried to go up against him when I was like 10 levels under him, and I mean, he just wiped my shit. So it was like, what now? I came back to him last. Like, I just came back to him afterwards because it was like, there was no way. Like, I wasn't gonna spend all this time like training. And also, another thing you had to do is that I had 3 separate teams in Star and Violet that would rotate through with every objective. It didn't matter what objective it was, but every time I would do like a objective, I'd use a different team, and I would rotate those 3 teams out. Um, that also kept me below the level. Like it kept me from, just exploding in levels. But it was really fun. I mean, I had like teams of shitmons and stuff. I had one, of course, I had the one team that had like an annihilate and a Gallade, right? But I also had like a bunch of shitmons. Like I had one that was led by a Crabrawler because I didn't remember how to evolve in the Crabominable. So it was literally just a Crabrawler was the ace of that team, and it was like a team full of shitmons that I would use against like team star bosses or whatever. It was really fun. That was one thing that I loved about Scarlet and Violet. ZA was all right with Pokemon selection, but it was also like it really held you back in some aspects. Because of how gated like the Pokemon were, it really kind of held you back in some places. But Scarlet and Violet, most fun team building game of any Pokemon game. It had such a wide variety of Pokemon available, even from the jump, and it was just a blast to make different teams and try different combinations of Pokemon with movesets and stuff. It was just a lot of fun. Really, like if you like catching Pokemon, you like the gameplay of Pokemon, like Scarlet and Violet's your game. Like that game is super duper well designed. Anyway, and then I heard Talisman play a big role in Gen 10. I mean, we don't really know anything about that. Like, I mean, we're just taking Ball Guy's word for it. And, Ball Guy's word has proven to be very, very trustworthy. So, I mean, I'll take his word for it. But, it's like when you say Talisman, like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that mean? Like, is it's just like something you hold? Is something like a necklace? Like, like what does it mean? Balls, yeah, balls. It's kind of odd. So, with that said, those are basically the leaks, right? Like, there's not really a whole lot of leaks going on. In general, I've heard that there may or may not be some stuff, Terra Leak stuff, that is still being held back. Don't really know anything about that. But with that said, I mean, of course, we want to see that map that Centro saw more than anything. Like, I want to see that fucking map because that shit is like, why not just post it, bro? Like, why are you holding it back for? Like, what are you holding back for? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, um, it doesn't matter. Like when you've already posted like what the map looks like, why don't you just post the actual map and then we can look at it and we can analyze it. That'd be a lot of fun. But for some reason, he told me next year. I asked him and he said I'll post it next year, and I'm just like, bruh, we're gonna have the actual map next year. Like there's no point. uh, so yeah, when it comes to leaks, I mean, there's not really much to be expected, right? I mean, like the only person who did Centro, I mean, it's like in the Terror League, like that's where it came from. The map, it came from Terror League, so unknown how Centro got his hands on it, but you know, it is what it is. Mega Darkrai going to be hype? Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that. Mega Darkrai is going to look awesome. So yeah, aside from leaks, like what are we really looking at? So in general, I've been growing GAIACHADS a lot. It has grown to like 1,300 people. It was at 500 yesterday, so this is pretty cool. It's grown a lot. I'm going to continue growing that as like a base. A base of users going into the Gen 10 hype cycle once it starts next year. Just basically going to be covering everything about Gen 10 and all that. And then, of course, by the end of it, I'm sure it'll be deleted again. Yeah, Nintendo is going to blow it up again. But, hey, we have a fallback. If you're not already in it, although you probably are, join the Moot Point Discord. That is like our fallback, no leaks Discord for when we're not talking about leaks. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure everyone who's in GAIACHADS is in that one. So yeah, so basically what we're doing is we're basically just making another Nintendo. So we're building up building up the user base and stuff. Which, like having a big user base isn't like, it's not really for clout or whatever, because I don't directly, like, everyone's coming from my stuff, so it's like I'm not really gaining anything from it. But what it does is it allows us to bring in new useful people. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you've got like 100 people joining a Discord for like a leak Discord or whatever, probably one or two of them are either, they know how to data mine stuff, or they're an actual leaker and they actually do have like leak shit that we don't know about, right? So like the whole point is like, you trawl for, I'm basically trawling for useful people who get the GAIACHADS role. That's what the GAIACHADS role is for, by the way. It's for people who, can provide info instead of just reading the info and talking about it. Although, I do appreciate people who come in and, talk about and stuff. But that's like the idea. So when you grow it to like Mutendo size, so Mutendo got to like 13 or 14,000 people before it got deleted. You also get 95 Nintendo Ninjas. It is what it is. I'm not. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Like, if they want to go get angry about people posting stuff that got leaked a year ago, then that's their prerogative. They're allowed to. I'm not gonna, like, it's just a fact of life, right? If they want to get mad about it, they can go get mad about it. But it's like, well, I'm not doing anything. But, like, what am I supposed to say? Like, okay, well, then yeah, don't do a leak server, right? Like, if you're afraid of Nintendo, then don't do a leak server. But it's just, it's whatever. So basically, that's the idea: is that I grow the server, more useful people join the server. We get a solider base of info and also reactivity. So like, whenever what is ever going to have a billion stars and great shit, I'll auto mod that stuff out. Mutendo was more 4chan adjacent than most Pokemon servers are. We're probably not going to do that again. I was like, I'm chill. I don't really care. But it ended up being a shit show. And I had to do like, the auto mod thing was like 20 lines long. Like, it was so bad. We're not dealing with that shit this time. So we're not doing that. Okay. But our idea is, we'll create a team of people, like in Mutendo, what we did was similar. We'll create a team of people who have, alacrity when it comes to reacting to leaks and stuff, and we can kind of figure out how to distribute leaks in a proper way. Like, that's, like, whenever the XCI for ZA hit, and, we were the ones who, like, publicized it first, we had to, like, figure out a way to publicize it in a way that, couldn't immediately be traced back to the person who actually leaked it, all sorts of things. And we had like a team. It was like a dozen people of us. We were like discussing in a voice chat, like how to release this in a proper way and all that. And it went pretty well. So that's basically the idea is, you grow the server and you'll eventually grow a team of people who can be equipped to handle like crazy ass situations. Although, of course, we're not expecting anything like that to happen this year because the Switch 2 hasn't been jailbroken yet. So you literally can't like post the game online. It doesn't work. There's no emulator for it, So we're not going to have that. But what we will have is image leaks and stuff, and people streaming the game again. That shit was so. I still remember when that one YouTuber fucking posted a video of him playing it, and they didn't even get mad at him for it. They just said, "Yo, where did you get that?" And he was just like, "Hey, I don't know. I guess some guy got it." And then he was like, I just scheduled the video to go out on the wrong day, and then they were all clear with him. He got off scot-free. Like, I still can't believe it. Like, and then we had to fucking download the video, and I had to walk this other guy through how to like stream on Discord or something. And oh my god, yeah, Yeah, I remember guys streaming. Yeah, no, someone definitely streamed on Twitch. I mean, we had people streaming the game in Nintendo. Like, there was like 4 people streaming it 24/7. And that, by the way, Nintendo told me that was the reason why they took down the server. It wasn't because of the leaks or anything, although they didn't like that either. But it was literally because we were streaming the game. That was the reason they took down the server. They told me that. Like, it was because we were literally, and you can't even get mad at them for that, right? Like, you're literally live streaming a game like 3 days before it comes out. Like, how are you supposed to get mad at the company who owns the game? Like, right? It's like, bro, of course they fucking deleted the Discord. It was like whatever. So like, and I was considering banning people streaming because I knew they were gonna do that. I knew that shit was gonna happen. Like the day the game leaked, I was like, okay, I was in the mod chat. We were talking about it. I was like, I think we should not let people stream because it's gonna be a bad idea. But then it was like, so many people were watching it. There was like 300 people watching it in like the stage or whatever, right? And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be an asshole. Like, if people want to watch, they want to watch. So it's like, who am I to say no? I'm gonna gatekeep. You're not allowed to watch the stream here. Get out. That's exactly that's like the antithesis of what I'm trying to do with these discords anyway. So yeah, I should have. I should have just turned off the VCs. And then we might have actually been able to keep the Discord, and that would have been awesome. But I was just like, yeah, fuck it. I knew they were gonna delete it. Like I knew that was gonna happen. Who added me? Oh, Yosobi with a Radwimps tribute. Oh shit. They covered Radwimps? I mean, Radwimps is really good. Anyway. So, what's our schedule looking like? So, DLC's coming out in a week. There's also probably going to be a data mine for that DLC. There might be some interesting stuff in there. I don't really know. Like, to be honest, like I'm not really like I thought I'd be more interested in Mega Dimension, but I'm actually like not. I don't know. Like ZA was so good that like if they, like I feel like Mega Dimension from what I've seen it doesn't really look that interesting. Like I don't know. I don't know whether like the Mega Dimension seems like it would make the game worse. It looks like it's literally gonna make the game worse. Because I mean, I don't know how do you like ZA, especially its ending was so fucking awesome. Like, how do you top that? Is what I'm saying. It's like the DLC in Scarlet and Violet made the game better. Sword and Shield, it made. I don't know if it made the game better, but I mean, the game was really dog shit. The DLC was also not very good, but it had really cool designs. For like I remember especially like Galarian Moltres and stuff like that stuff was awesome. But like I guess Crown Tundra was good. I would say Crown Tundra was good. Owl of Armor wasn't really that crazy. But you know, when it comes to like ZA, like the Mega Dimension stuff, it looks like it's just gonna be like okay, it's hard. It's got like level 150 Pokemon, but it's like, bro, is it really gonna make the game better? Like, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, it's like, I mean, I bought it, so I'm like, I'm gonna play it, but it's like, I feel like it's gonna actually just make the game worse. I actually think it's gonna make the game worse. Urshifu introduction, yeah, Urshifu is a menace. Although I really like Urshifu, I feel like it's underutilized, like in stuff in general. I know they made a whole DCG like era about it. I know they had him in the anime and all that. I know he's top game at Pokemon VGC, but I still feel like he's underutilized a bit. A bit. I think that was it Asahi? The girl with the Rapid Strike one? I feel like the Rapid Strike one shouldn't have been in Journeys. I feel like Tsurugi has Urshifu single strike, and then Asahi should have had like some other water type low tier legendary, not Urshifu. Like, I'm still mad about Project Mew. I'm still mad. Anyway, you do have the option to not buy it. Yeah, but like, who wouldn't buy it? Like, what kind of DLC, a $30 DLC, makes the game worse? Like, it can't make the game worse. Like, that's the point. Is that otherwise, like, it's a bad product. Like what? Like, you can't like have the DLC be worse, and that's like okay. Like, it's not okay. It shouldn't be okay, right? It's like, bro, what the fuck? Roguelike gameplay, I like. Roguelike gameplay is popular, but it's not popular with people who play Pokemon. That's the thing. Like, people who play Megabonk, Vampire Survivors, Risk of Rain, like, people who play Pokemon, I guarantee 90% of the people in GAIACHADS have never heard of the games I just said. They don't know what they are because they're PC games. And, these people, they don't play those. They play Pokemon. And sometimes Mario. Right? So it's like, they've never heard of Megabonk, right? So it's like, it's popular. Like, those games are popular. They're very popular on PC. Actually, like, most of the big, like, indie releases over the past several years on PC have been roguelikes. Have you played Hades? Yes, I've played Hades. And I've played Hades 2 as well, by the way. The issue is that it's just kind of, it's not the gameplay that Pokemon fans are looking for. Pokemon players are, they're, RPG players, they're strategy players, right? They're not like roguelike fucking choice decision makers. Make sense? It's not exactly, it's kind of like strategy, but it's not really kind of strategy that Pokemon players are looking for. So I don't know how popular this is going to be. Of course, I could be wrong. This could be Nintendo's first introduction to roguelikes for Pokemon players, and it could be insanely popular. Like, as breakout popular as, like, Vampire Survivors was, for example. Like, it could be extremely popular gameplay-wise. Because, of course, the gameplay is the strongest part of ZA. More so than the story. Which, I really like the story. But, like, the gameplay, more than anything, is the strongest part of it. Like, ZA is just fun to play. Hell, I made a new fucking save just to play through it again. Because it's that fun to play. But, I don't know how, like, I'm skeptical of this DLC. I'm just skeptical. Of course, it's gonna be wild. It's gonna be like Primal Groudon and shit. So it's gonna be kind of crazy. I know it's gonna be crazy, but it's like, like, is it really gonna be that crazy though? Like, are we sure about that? Like, it's, I'm skeptical. That's all it is. I'm like, it might not actually be all that crazy. Keeping the details hidden? Yeah, that's true. Of course, like, people are saying, oh, well, what if the DLC doesn't have a story? No, dude, like, they've spent, like, ZA, like, if anything, I think the story was more focused on than, like, the map was even. Like, the story and, like, not just the story, but the dialogue, right? Like, the way the story was conveyed, the conversations you have, hell, even just, like, the NPC dialogues in the city. Like, when you walk past them and they have, like, this really cool tidbit. Like, the game's world actually felt more alive because of that. And there was a lot of really, really, like, interesting little factoids or just opinions and things, like, things they mentioned, which were like, wow, so this game actually is made by people who really, like, they really know their stuff. And you might be saying, well, yeah, no shit, they're the ones who make it. Like, of course they know their stuff. But it's like, it's just a little enchanting, really, to see like all those little things that they talk about, and it's like stuff that you'll see on like some random tiny forum that has 20 people in it talking about some really esoteric Pokemon factoids or whatever, and you're like, wow, these guys, they genuinely do have it down. Like, they have the whole thing down. Because sometimes people will be like, well, there's like plot holes, or like they forget this sort of stuff they did in the world. But no, they didn't forget. They just made a decision not to. That's what this game kind of proves to me, is that, these guys, the guys who are behind these games, like, they really do, they take everything into account when they make a game. They take everything, every little detail that they've ever done when making a new game. They do it every single time. It's kind of awesome. Like, I think more so than anything, especially with the Terra Lake, it really showed us just how much work, especially like with the new Terra Lake, with like the Confluence files and stuff. It really shows us just how much work goes into making a Pokemon game. like an insane amount of work. And you might say that, oh, these guys are lazy when you see it, like the kind of products they come out with, but it's like, wow, dude, like they really do a lot of different shit to get these games working. Because like a shooter is like a shooter, right? Like, it's not hard to make a shooter. Well, not relatively. There aren't really a lot of unique mechanics and stuff, but Pokemon has a lot of unconventional mechanics, gameplay mechanics, like engine mechanics and stuff in their games. It doesn't work the same way. I think that, actually a game that actually works kind of similar to this is like Arc Raiders. I think is kind of a little similar in the way they made the game, but even then, like Arc Raiders has like what 12 arcs, while Pokemon has like 200 or 400 Pokemon in a given game. So it's like arcs are genuine, like they're generally a lot more reactive and they have better AI and stuff than Pokemon do. But Pokemon, there's just so many more of them, and you're like, well, fuck. Anyway, so when it comes to scheduling, DLC, it's coming out this month. We also have Jump Festa this month. Most likely going to be anime news. Maybe it's about that movie, maybe not. I've heard that they wanted to announce the new anime this month, but that's just a rumor. So it's like we'll see what happens with that. That said, January, I'm not expecting a whole lot. People were saying Champions is going to come out in January. I don't think so. I think Champions is going to get delayed for a long ass time. I've heard some very bad shit about Champions, production-wise. Like, it sounds like it was a production disaster. And, people are saying, like, well, how can you have a production disaster with a game that's just Pokemon Showdown but in 3D? But it actually, there are problems. Especially, I think it really comes down to how many different platforms are trying to make it on. They're trying to make it on Switch, Switch 2, mobile. Hell, it might even come out on PC. So it's like, it's not really that surprising that, they're having this many problems. Who's the best Pokemon waifu? I mean, like 10 years ago, I would have very enthusiastically answered like Cynthia or something, but I don't do waifus anymore. I'm 24. Like, I'm an adult with a job, bro. I don't give a shit about waifus. Like, that said, I think that's everything. I think that's actually everything I wanted to talk about. We'll see. I'll see if I can kind of break the gatekeep and stuff and try to find some of this stuff. I especially want to see the map. I want to find that map. I'm gonna find that map, but hopefully by Christmas or something, I will be able to I'll be able to show you guys some new shit from the Terra League. Maybe some maybe some game images or the map or some shit. I'm gonna try and find some shit and see if I can find it. If I can, of course, I mean, join GAIACHADS. I mean, I'm sure everyone in the stream is in there, but if you're watching this VOD on YouTube, because I actually do have a few subscribers now. I'm surprised I have this many. If you're watching this on YouTube, join GAIACHADS, link in the description. We are posting everything in there until we get in trouble. Yeah. So, thank you all for watching. It was a lot of fun to bring this on again. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming, like, regularly. I might stream when the DLC comes out, like, the data mine, everything comes out. I might talk about the DLC, my thoughts on it after playing it. But, in general, don't really expect this to be like, oh, we're going to start streaming every day again, because I'm not. But I will try to stream a few more times this month, and we'll see what happens then. Yeah, thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, join GAIACHADS Discord in the link in the description below. Follow me on Twitter. Link is also in the description below. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.